Hello, everyone, and welcome to the G.U.H.L Week 2 recap. We had a lot of great games again, a lot of close ones, a lot of high-scoring affairs, but let's not waste any of your precious time, and let's take a look at what went down. So it was really hard for me to choose this week a game of the week. There was a couple games I really had trouble deciding between, so honestly, I just went with both. That's right, 2 games of the week this week. There is an honorable mention. That is Marissa versus Wink. Y'all scored hella points, but honestly, pretty early on, Wink had it in the bag, so that's just why it's not a game of the week this week. But anyways, the first game of the week was Ryan versus Cece. The game of the week lived up to the hype. Cece went up big real early. After the 1 p.m. game, she was up 45 points, but Ryan turned his head and golfed up a comeback, being up 40 points himself by the end of Sunday. Cece was able to muster up another comeback of her own on Monday, but it wasn't enough because the final score between those two was 153.18 to 142.22, with the win going to Ryan. Well played, guys. Our second game of the week belongs to Sydney versus me. Our game was really close, and it honestly gave me a lot of anxiety. But she was up after the 1 p.m. games, and then I was up after the 4 p.m. games. But by the end of Sunday, Sydney had already beaten me. The final score being 132.58 to 117.24. The up and down nature of the game and the closeness of the score throughout made this another game of the week. And unfortunately, brings your boy to 0-2. All right, so now I'm 0-2. It should be 2-0, but I'm 0-2. Okay, so now let's take a look at our top scores of the week. We had a lot of high-scoring teams this week, and these 3 guys definitely had something to do with it. Our top scorer this week was Aaron Jones, running back for the Packers. He had 45.6 points for Wink to help him reach the highest team point total of the season. Nice play, Wink. At number 2 was Alvin Kamara, running back for the Saints. He finished up with a measly 38.4 points for Cece. Kamara was huge for her, but it wasn't enough as she came up short against Ryan. And number 3 was freaking Cam Newton. What the heck? Dude is playing incredibly well right now. The quarterback for the Patriots secured 34.58 points for Ryan this week and was a huge part of getting that close win against CC. Seriously though, Cam Newton? And moving right along, we're going to look at our top bench players of the week. At number 1 was Russell Wilson, quarterback for the Seahawks. Marissa, he scored 33.42 points for you on the bench. And again, I gotta say, I envy you at the quarterback position. I would not be surprised if both him and Josh Allen end up being a top 5 fantasy quarterback this season. Jeez. Number 2 was Stephon Diggs, wide receiver for the Bills. He had 29.3 points on the bench for Wink this week. And honestly, if he played him, he might have hit 200 points, which is crazy. At number 3, though, was a surprise to me. Leonard Fournette, running back of the Buccaneers. The running back who, quote, finally has a good quarterback, dropped 27.6 points on the bench for David this week. David, my guy, these bench plays are killing you. Unfortunately, you didn't play him, but that brings me to my next point. The stud and dud of the week. Let's start with the dud. For the second consecutive week, the dud of the week is David Brown. Honestly, though, you can't really blame him on this one. He suffered a huge loss this week. Saquon Barkley is out for the year with an ACL tear. Had he remained healthy, played out the game, he probably could have been someone else wearing the dud hat this week. Not this time, bud. David Brown, dud of the week. The stud of the week is Ethan Winkler. He scored the most points by one team so far this season with 181.71 points against Marissa, his own wife. Ouch. I mean, next steps are marriage counseling, maybe a really expensive dinner, anything to make up for that one, bud. Yo, that was so sick. All right, so a new addition moving forward for our recaps is going to be a pickup of the week. This award is going to go to the person who picked up a player off the waiver wire and then started them the following week. So here we go. This week, that award goes to Cece. She picked up Jonnu Smith. He's a tight end for the Titans, and it paid off pretty well. Dude had a solid day. He scored 24.4 points for Cece. Not a bad pickup at all. All right, so if you're looking to pick up some players off the waiver wire this week to strengthen that lineup, then this section's for you. Top scoring player in free agency this week was Ryan Tannehill, quarterback for the Titans. He had 26.76 points this week, and it could be a solid secondary option for you at quarterback if you decide to pick him up. At number 2 was Ryan Fitzpatrick, quarterback for the Dolphins. Fitzmagic was mildly in effect this week. He had 24.32 points, and that's pretty solid for him. But honestly, though, I wouldn't really pick him up unless you're super desperate. But keep him in mind unless, Tua comes around and takes that starting spot from him. Anyway, number 3 was Jordan Reed, tight end for the 49ers. He came in with 24 points this week. Pretty good for him, but honestly, I wouldn't pick him up because he probably doesn't even know where he's at right now, or probably has already even forgotten that he scored that many points. So our fun fact of the week is in fact not fun at all. If you're paying any attention to the games this weekend, you would have noticed that there were a lot of injuries this week. Some of them were even season ending. But I was following a particular Reddit post that was documenting all the injuries because there were so many going on. But by the end of the 4 p.m. games, there were 56 individual player injuries. Wow. But honestly, this might be the season that we're looking at. There is limited practice time and no preseason due to COVID. And if we're seeing injuries like this early, we're probably going to be seeing some more throughout the season, so buckle up. So let's hope for the safety of those guys out there. All right, so on to next week. Our game to watch next week is going to be a battle of the Ethans. Ethan Moyer versus Ethan Winkler. These two high-scoring teams face off against each other next week, which means the first 2 studs of the season are battling out to see which stud has the bigger stud. Can't wait to see the outcome of that one. Well, that's it, everyone. I appreciate you watching the Week 2 recap. Keep an eye out next week for Week 3. But until then, I hope you have a great week. And don't forget to set your lineups. See you next time.